everybody. This is going to be a video about how to make your own bird feeder, which is what I spent all day doing. And here's the method that I figured out. You're going to need a whole bunch of sticks, some sort of way to cut those sticks, so scissors or little bitty yard clippers. You'll need a ruler, you'll need hot glue, and you'll need some string. But that's it, I think. If we go along the video and, I'm like, oh, oops, other thing, you pause the video, go grab it, okay? Cool. Let's get started. The first thing is you need a whole bunch of sticks. I went out into my front yard and I collected a whole bunch of the straightest little sticks that I could find. And you can see that some of them aren't that straight, but you do your best. Straight sticks, they can be quite skinny. You don't want the beefiest sticks you've ever seen. Little ones, straight, that's what you're looking for. Once I did that, I cut them to 10 inches each, as straight as I could find them with my little clippers. And I lined up a whole bunch of them. I decided that I was going for, I think 6.5 inches is what I decided I was going for. The actual roof ended up being more like 5 inches across, but because once I compressed them more with the hot glue, it got a little skinnier. But the main thing is that you compile a bunch of sticks, 10 inches, that you've cut for 2 halves of a roof that'll go like this. So once you've done that, you cut a bunch of sticks to 10 inches long, you take your hot glue gun and you start gluing them together. Now, I started gluing every stick individually, but that was taking so much glue, and it was like really tedious. So instead, I found bracer sticks. So these ones are a little thicker than my other ones, but still quite skinny. And I laid them across my lineup of sticks that were going to be my roof, and glued them together. And then, once I had 2 strips across, I used my hot glue gun to just kind of smooth into those cracks to glue the sticks together with the bracers and to each other. Once I did that, I leaned my sticks together and I found that I had to cut along the top of each of them so that they're a little flatter. And so I leaned them together and I found a stick that was, I cut a stick to the length of the roof and put it underneath and just hot glued and hot glued and hot glued so that it would stay together. And I found another stick that goes across like a big A, so that helps it with some internal stability. Next, I used a bunch of my sticks that I found that were too short for the roof, and I glued them together in a little square. I believe I used mine 4 inches long, but that's going to depend on how wide you made your roof and stuff like that. It's going to be a little perch for the birds. So I glued them first in one ring, and then piece by piece I glued up from that ring, so it was like a little bowl-like shape with no bottom. I then wrapped that in some string because I was worried about it falling apart. My hot glue was being pretty funky and it wasn't sticking super great, so if you find you need to use a whole bunch of hot glue, know that I also had to, and if your hot glue is working amazing, good for you. So yeah, then I took a bottle, which is in fact a plastic bottle. That is something I forgot to mention. So my dad had just finished one of those flavored drinks in a plastic bottle, and I was like, can I have that? So I took that. I took the outside wrapper off, and about 2-ish inches from the bottom, I poked a hole with my scissors, and I made 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch flaps. If you need help from a grown-up to do this to stab your plastic bottle, I recommend it. It was quite hard. The bottle likes to bend in, and so it needs a lot of force to get a nice stab mark so you can start cutting a flap. And I made 5 flaps in my plastic bottle, kind of like a little flower. And I pulled them back so that they were like little perches in my plastic bottle. Next, to make my string a little thicker, I measured out my arm's length arbitrarily, and I braided it up so that it's a stronger string. Yeah. And then I took the bottle and so to attach the bottle to the roof line, I first, remember that little piece of wood we put up there? I put a little string as a loop around that. So it went underneath the roof, out the roof, and then I tied it on the top. So that is what we're going to attach both the string that'll hold it to the tree later when we hang it up, and the string that holds the bottle. So I wrapped the string around the bottle a couple times, and then I tied it in a loop up on this little baby loop I created in the top roof part. I also took 2 strings and I wrapped them around my bottom bracers, the pieces that went across the roof like this, that hold, and then that's what's holding up the ring. 2 strings that go like this. Finally, I braided some more string for the part that would attach it to the tree, and I made a big old loop for that, and I went and hung it up. Yeah, that's how I made myself a little bird feeder. And it looks real cute, and I hope that my cat has a great time watching all the birds that come. And I hope you guys had a good time making your bird feeders. Thanks so much.